The Egyptian temple was never outside. It was your body all along. You were taught to look outward, to search in deserts, books, ruins. But the temple you've been searching for was never lost. It was disguised as you. The Egyptians knew something we forgot, that the human body is not a shell. It's an activation device, a vibrational instrument built to resonate with the cosmos, a sacred geometry in motion, a multidimensional chamber that remembers when nothing else does. You were not made to kneel in temples. You were made to embody them. Every cell in your body holds ancient Egyptian intelligence, not metaphorically, literally, because the same frequency that aligned the Great Pyramid with the stars still flows through your spine. And if you've been feeling strange pulses, dreams, déjà vu, body sensations you can't explain, this is why. The Egyptian technique is awakening inside you, not through logic, through resonance. This is not spiritual entertainment. This is a remembrance protocol. You don't need to become enlightened. You need to remember what you already were. You are not broken. You are encrypted. And this moment is not random. The algorithm of reality is delivering this to you now, because your soul finally vibrates at the frequency of its original design. This is your activation, and it starts in the only place that was never touched by war, doctrine, or distortion: your body. Chapter 1. Your spine, the Egyptian inner obelisk. You've seen the obelisks rising from the sands of Egypt, but no one ever told you the truth. They were mirrors, not of gods, but of you, of the energy structure you were born with, of the sacred verticality of your own soul. Because what the ancients built in stone, they first built within themselves. The spine is not just a biological column, it is the Egyptian obelisk within, a luminous energy pillar, a conduit for the divine current, a vertical axis of light intelligence designed to connect heaven and earth. Each vertebra holds vibrational memory. Each space between bones is a chakra gate. And at the base, coiled in silence, sleeps the serpent of fire. Not a metaphor, a frequency, a living code of ascension. The Egyptians called it Jed, the pillar of stability. But in truth, it was more than stability. It was mobility, the sacred inner movement that raises dormant energy into divine remembrance. And here's the secret you were never told. The Jed wasn't just a symbol. It was the blueprint of the awakened spine, a map of energetic resurrection. And it lives inside you. Every time you sit in stillness and feel a pressure up your back, every time your breath tingles your spine, every time your posture suddenly self-corrects without effort, that is the Egyptian inner technology beginning to stir. That's the serpent beginning to move. That's your energetic architecture starting to remember. This is not New Age fluff. This is bioenergetic truth, encoded thousands of years ago in symbols, so it would survive this exact moment, your moment. So why now? Because your frequency finally aligned, because the distortions are cracking, because your energy system is ready to be reconnected to the cosmic grid. The inner obelisk is your bridge. It's how you channel divine intelligence, how you recalibrate your nervous system, how you awaken the serpent not with effort, but with permission. You are not activating something external. You are allowing what was always sacred within you to rise. And when it does, you don't just stand taller, you become a transmitter. Your spine becomes a beacon, your aura, a pulse of harmonic frequency, your presence, a recalibration field for everyone around you. This is the Egyptian spinal code, not to be worshipped, to be embodied. Because the obelisk was never meant to be visited. It was meant to be lived from the inside out. Chapter 2. The Egyptian breath of Thoth. They told you breathing was just for survival. But the ancient Egyptians, they knew a secret. Breath was the bridge between time and eternity. Every inhale was a remembrance. Every exhale, a release of illusion. They didn't just breathe air, they breathed light. Because breath was the carrier of divine frequency, and no one understood this more than Thoth, scribe of the gods, guardian of cosmic memory. and master of the sacred breath technique that unlocks forgotten realms. But Thoth was not worshipped. He was practiced. The breath is the technology you've been looking for activation outside of you, in symbols, in scripts, in secrets. But the most powerful Egyptian technique of all is happening every moment right under your nose. Breath is the activation key, a sacred current that tunes your frequency to divine intelligence. The Egyptians knew this. They aligned their breath to the stars. They harmonized their prana with planetary cycles. They spoke mantras that vibrated the chambers of their body into resonant memory. Because the real scrolls were not made of papyrus. They were stored in your lungs, your blood, your vocal tone. Vocal resonance equals cellular awakening. When you speak from your center, when your breath carries intention, not tension, your body becomes a temple of sound. And that sound is not noise, it's intelligence. This is why ancient initiates didn't chant to worship. They chanted to rewire their nervous system, to rewrite trauma, to reprogram the subconscious, to vibrate their DNA back into divine order. And that's what Thoth taught, that the voice is not for expression, it's for remembrance. The logos, the tone, the breath spoken with soul. Breath as portal. Try this. Inhale slowly, hold, exhale like a serpent, hissing softly through the teeth. Feel the vibration in your jaw, your spine, your crown. This is not a trick. This is the breath of Thoth, reawakening the ancient circuits of your energy body. Every breath you take consciously now is a frequency attunement, a realignment of your chakra system, a clearing of ancestral residue, a restoration of divine presence. You are not just breathing, you are tuning your entire multidimensional system to the light grid. And with each breath, you speak less, you transmit more, because breath is the language the soul remembers best. Final reminder, you don't need more knowledge. You need to breathe what you already carry. And when you do, your nervous system resets, your vibration rises, your inner codes unlock. The breath of Thoth is not a myth, it's a living current, and it's already moving inside you. Chapter 3. The Egyptian Scroll Hidden in Your DNA. They told you history was in books, that memory was in your mind, that knowledge was something to be learned. But the ancient Egyptians knew the truth. The most sacred knowledge was not written outside you. It was encoded within. Because your DNA is the Egyptian scroll you've been searching for. A living manuscript, written in light, coiled like a serpent, and hidden behind layers of time, trauma, and forgetfulness. DNA is not just biology, it's spiritual architecture. You are not just made of cells. You are made of codes, frequencies, patterns of light information passed down through star lines and soul lines. You carry ancestral memory. You carry the exact same vibrational architecture as the priest kings, the oracles, the initiates of ancient Egypt. The pyramids were not just monuments. They were frequency amplifiers, designed to awaken the dormant codes in your DNA when the time was right. And that time is now. The scroll unlocks by resonance, not reading. You don't unlock this scroll by thinking. You unlock it by vibrating, by aligning your field to the original divine signal it was tuned to receive. That signal is coming back online. That's why you felt the shifts. That's why you've been seeing symbols, hearing tones, having vivid dreams, body symptoms, spontaneous awakenings. It's not random. Your energetic inheritance is responding. Because encoded within your DNA are memories that didn't start in this lifetime. They began in temples, in ceremonies, in the star-aligned halls of Atlantis and Kemet, the ancient name for Egypt. What's awakening in you? Cellular memory of light technology, quantum soul instructions from Egyptian initiations, Akashic data stored in your bloodline, light-based geometry waiting for activation, divine blueprint hidden beneath emotional trauma. Every emotion you transmute, every pattern you release, Every time you choose coherence over fear, you are decoding the scroll. You are reading your soul's book, not with your eyes, but with your vibration. And when it unlocks, you no longer try to remember. You become memory itself. Your body becomes a transmitter. Your frequency becomes a prayer. And your presence becomes a living teaching. You stop consuming information and start radiating intelligence, because this was never about accumulating knowledge. It was about awakening the sacred technology already living in you. The Egyptian scroll is real. It never left. And now, it's turning itself open. Chapter 4. The Egyptian pyramid was you all along. They told you the pyramids were tombs, that they were built for the dead, constructed by slaves, meant to honor forgotten kings. But the ancient Egyptians never built for death. They built for ascension. Because the Great Pyramid was never just a monument. It was a living machine, a resonance chamber, an instrument designed to align the human body with the cosmos. But here's what they never taught you. The pyramid wasn't just around you. It was designed after you, because you are the pyramid. Your spine, the central pillar, your eyes, the celestial alignment, your brain, the capstone, your breath, the rising current of light. Your entire body is sacred geometry in motion. You're not meant to visit the temple. You're meant to embody it. The ancients didn't enter the pyramid to pray. They entered to transform, to lie in perfect stillness, in absolute darkness, and allow the body to become a light portal. Because inside the pyramid, something happens. The frequencies shift, the pineal gland opens, the magnetic field recalibrates, and the soul begins to rise. And that very same blueprint was encoded in you. You are a micropyramid, a fractal of the cosmic design. When you align breath, posture, emotion, and vibration, you recreate the original initiation from within. You activate the pyramid, not in Egypt, but in your nervous system. The true map of ascension was never external. Your inner pyramid has a base, your root and sacral chakras, a central chamber, your heart, the seat of coherence, a resonance field, your pineal gland and crown, a light spiral, the serpent energy rising through your spine. This is why you've been called to remember symbols, rituals, chants, not to copy them, but to reactivate their resonance within your own architecture. The pyramid is not a destination, it's a process. And the moment you stop looking outward for the sacred, you feel it rise vertically through your core. You don't just meditate, you generate a vibrational field of elevation. You don't just visualize light, you become the frequency that opens gateways. Because you are the temple, the key, and the gate. This is the forgotten truth. The Egyptian pyramid was not built to honor the dead. It was built to awaken the living. And now, that same activation sequence is igniting inside you. Your spine is remembering its geometric power. Your breath is activating your resonance chamber. Your field is becoming a Merkaba, a body of light in sacred motion. You are no longer walking through reality. You are rising through dimensions, because the pyramid was never meant to be visited. It was meant to be embodied. And now, you remember. You didn't come here to enter the temple. You came here to realize you are it. Chapter 5. The Egyptian future was buried inside you. You've been told the past is behind you. But what if that's the greatest illusion of all? What if the future you, the awakened, aligned, radiant you, was never something to become, but something you already were? What if the Egyptian initiates weren't just preserving history, but encoding a timeline into the field for those who would one day vibrate high enough to remember? Why now? Because your resonance finally matched the signal. Because the veil is thinner than ever. Because the Egyptian timeline has re-entered the field of Earth. That's why. You're having intense dreams. You're drawn to ancient symbols. You feel emotional waves you can't explain. You sense a mission without words. You see repeating numbers, signs, synchronicities. These are not coincidences. They are timeline markers. Your soul's way of saying, you're realigning. The timeline collapse. You're not becoming someone new. You're merging with someone ancient, and simultaneously already you. This is the collapse of separation between human and divine, past and future, memory and embodiment, earth and cosmos, soul and body. You are now walking between dimensions, and the memories flooding your field are not hallucinations, they are activations. The Egyptian scrolls inside your DNA are decoding. The inner obelisk in your spine is transmitting. The breath of Thoth is spiraling through your lungs, and your aura is adjusting to match the frequency of the temple you once built. You are the transmission now. You don't need to seek anymore. You don't need to prove anything. You don't even need to explain, because when the soul fully lands in the body, you don't chase the light, you radiate it. Your presence becomes a code, your silence, a signature, your vibration, a language. You stop asking, why am I here? You remember. You came here to restore what was forgotten. You came to embody what was buried. You came to resurrect the Egyptian frequency through your own nervous system. This is the Egyptian future. It's not a prophecy, it's a return. And it was never about saving the world. It was about restoring the original frequency of your being. Because buried beneath every doubt, every trauma, every lifetime, is the one truth your soul never let go of. You were always the temple. You were always the code. You were always the light. And now, you're becoming the transmission. Chapter 6. The Egyptian frequency grid inside your body. You're not just remembering, you're reconnecting. Because there's something else the ancient Egyptians knew. Something most still haven't remembered. Your body is a frequency map, a living grid of light, geometry, and power, perfectly wired to the stars. And as your soul returns to the body, your inner system begins to recalibrate. You feel it as pressure, as vibration, as an invisible current reactivating long-dormant circuits. This is not imagination. It's the spiritual electricity of your divine nervous system coming back online. You're rewriting itself. You used to process life from your thoughts. Now, it's all happening in your field. You're sensing shifts before they happen, feeling people's truth before they speak, resonating with frequencies you can't name but deeply know. This is because the Egyptian light grid inside you is reactivating. It's not symbolic. It's vibrational biology, the body of the soul integrating with the structure of the flesh. Every chakra, every gland, every cell is being reattuned to its original harmonic blueprint. And this blueprint was never random. It was cosmically engineered to hold divine intelligence in physical form. What's really happening inside you? Your chakras are sinking into crystalline symmetry. Your breath is weaving with your heart field. Your pineal gland is receiving star-coded resonance. Your aura is re-expanding to its ancient bandwidth. Your DNA is releasing ancestral energetic residue. Your spine is pulsing with vertical alignment. You are becoming a tuning fork for reality, not metaphorically, energetically, because the codes of Egypt weren't just meant to be studied. They were meant to be embodied in real time, through movement, breath, silence, and coherence. You're not aligning to the world anymore. The world is aligning to you. You used to shape yourself to fit your environment. Now your field is shaping your reality. People fall away or get magnetized without effort. Opportunities appear as soon as you surrender. You feel when something is out of integrity, and your body simply won't allow it anymore. You're not evolving. You're revealing the geometry that was always encoded in your field. And that geometry is Egyptian. This is the grid the temples were built to reflect. You are the template, the sacred measure, the golden proportion, the inner architecture the pyramids were modeled after. And as you return to that original form, your presence becomes a stabilizer, a pillar of frequency for others, a point of coherence in a dissonant world. You're not here to fit in. You're here to recalibrate the matrix from within, because once the Egyptian grid inside you is active, you no longer live in the system. You vibrate above it. Chapter 7. The Egyptian Guardian Awakens in Your Field. You always thought the guardians of the temples were outside, dressed in robes, standing at the gates, holding staffs of gold, speaking words of power. But the ancient Egyptians knew the real guardian was the one who stood within. And now, in the quiet presence of your becoming, that guardian archetype is awakening. Not as an idea, as frequency. You are the temple and the gatekeeper. This is the sacred paradox. You are not just the temple, you are its keeper, its protector, its vibrational authority. When your energy field stabilizes, when your breath no longer reacts, but harmonizes, when your body becomes still but radiant, you are no longer just remembering. You are now guarding the frequency of your soul. You are becoming what the Egyptians called a living jed, a pillar so coherent, so aligned, that nothing incoherent can pass through. You are becoming a vibrational firewall, not by force, but by presence. Your aura is now your architecture. As your inner codes awaken, something shifts externally. Your field becomes structured, your presence becomes magnetic. People feel something shift when you enter a room, even if you say nothing. This is not imagination. It's the result of spiritual embodiment. Because when the inner pyramid is aligned, your auric field becomes the outer temple. And that temple has laws, frequencies, codes that either resonate or repel. You don't need to defend yourself with words. Your vibration becomes the filter. This is how the Egyptian guardians protected the sacred, by embodying a frequency that could not be faked, and you're doing it now. What this changes. You stop leaking energy through self-doubt. You no longer absorb other people's chaos. You hold your axis even in dissonant environments. You begin transmitting healing without speaking. Your silence becomes a tuning fork for truth. You don't need to be loud. You need to be anchored. You don't need to seek validation. You become the confirmation. This is the rise of the guardian consciousness. And it's not a costume. It's a state of field coherence. It's the Egyptian realization that I am the gate, and only what honors the temple may pass. Embodiment is the final initiation. The guardian doesn't talk about frequency. They are frequency. They walk as presence. They rest as clarity. They emanate as truth. And now, you do too. Because the guardian is not coming. It was buried inside you, and it just stood up. Chapter 8. The sound returns before the vision. Before you see, you hear. Before the light activates, the tone arrives. This is how the Egyptians did it. They didn't wait for visions, they sang them into existence. Because in the ancient temples, sound was the first frequency of creation. And now, after lifetimes of silence, your voice is waking up. Not your speaking voice, your resonant voice. The one that carries memory, the one that transmits codes. Your voice is a spiritual technology you've been taught. To use your voice for communication, but the Egyptian initiates used it for activation. Every vowel carried geometry, every tone shaped reality. Every chant opened a portal in the field. They didn't sing to perform, they vocalized to restructure matter, to call soul fragments back into the body, to unlock frequency gates within the spine, to awaken the vibrational language of light. You're not remembering a song, you're remembering a sonic identity. Your voice unlocks what your mind can't. There are things your intellect will never understand, but your voice will feel. Because when you tone with intention, you bypass the mind, you speak to the nervous system, you vibrate the cellular field, you reach the buried scrolls of the DNA and rattle them awake. This is why you felt the urge to chant, to hum, to whisper tones that have no meaning but carry power. You are not crazy. You are remembering your Egyptian voice print. The return of the original tone. Before you see yourself fully, you will hear the tone that matches your soul's resonance. Sometimes in dreams, sometimes in silence, sometimes from your own mouth. But when it comes, you will feel the alignment. Your spine will lift, your skin will respond, your field will open like a temple door. Because the sound always returns before the vision. It leads the way. It prepares the body. It recalibrates the chamber of your throat and heart so you can receive what comes next. This is not about performance. It's about presence. Your voice isn't meant to entertain. It's meant to transmit. You are here to vibrate others into their own remembering, to speak tones that only their soul understands, to echo ancient frequencies that were lost in time, but not in you. Because when your voice is connected to your breath, and your breath is anchored in your soul, you become a temple of tone, and every sound you make is a frequency of reawakening. Final call. You were the temple, the scroll, and the voice all along. Now you know. You were never just remembering Egypt. You were reawakening it from within. The pyramid was your spine. The scroll was your DNA. The guardian was your presence. And the voice was always yours. You didn't come to study the sacred. You came to become it. You are not a seeker anymore. You are a frequency holder, a transmitter of something ancient, radiant, and intact. And the world doesn't need more information. It needs more embodied memory. If you feel it, speak it now. I carry the Egyptian code. I am the temple. I am the tone. I am the light returning. Say it again, out loud. Feel your spine respond. Feel the vibration land in your field. Feel the gate open from within. Because this is not the end of the journey. This is your return to spiritual sovereignty. You are no longer waiting. You are walking as the remembrance itself. And your presence is the key that reactivates the temple in others. You don't need to be louder. You just need to resonate deeper. You are the living archive. The Egyptian technique was never lost. It was encoded in you for this exact moment in time. And now that it's awake, you will never walk the same again. Because everywhere you go, you carry the temple. You breathe the code. You speak the light. And the field responds, not because you demand it, but because you embody it.